And Vicki Robin, to me, it seems that the art you practice in your writing, at least in your two books, is sort of story-based learning. You are the compelling character, looking to overcome the obstacle. In your new book, you're looking to overcome the obstacle of eating locally when you happen to live on an island. Is that right?
Right. So, the book is Blessing the Hands That Feed Us, and it started really as a double dare from a farmer friend of mine who was watching a takeoff on Morgan Spurlock's Super Size Me, and her husband said, we should do Super Veggie Me, 30 days eating vegetables from your garden, and neither one of them was willing to do it themselves. So they went around looking for somebody, and for me, I say that sustainability is an extreme sport. It's something that you're supposed to live, not just something to talk about. So that sounded, and also I'm a lifelong dieter, and as the prophet of consumption downsizers, there was one form of consumption that was off the table, of course, because I'm a sport eater. It's like I'm happy I eat, I'm sad I eat. It's like I'm bored I eat. And when I'd like to eat now. No. So no, I actually don't want to. Anyway, so she double dared me. So we made a pact, that she would feed me for a month from what she grew in her garden, and that I said we'll blog for food. So I would blog every day and document. And really, I'm saying it in a light way, but for me, actually, it is a sustainability issue. I heard somebody speak, and they were talking about the island. And we're serviced by a bridge to the south, and a bridge to the north, and a ferry to the south. And it's a semi-rural island. And
in a northern climate, we should say. We're not talking about a tropical island.
No, it's not a tropical island. But actually, I asked her, how long could we feed ourselves in Whidbey Island, from Whidbey Island? And she said, probably 2 weeks in August. And so that was what got my attention. What do we do the rest of the year? 95% of our food comes in on trucks on a semi-rural island that looks like it's farming. So I wanted to test the resilience of my food system, so I took on this challenge. And the story is really, the little innocent person of overcoming big obstacles. There's allies, there are enemies, and most of the enemies were internal. Like, I actually gave myself 4 exotics because I wasn't willing to live without some of them, like caffeine. So it's the story of my effort to live a value that is espoused by many people. It's the hip, cool thing, local food, but how do you live it? And once I entered through the gateway of local food, and they say know your farmer, but for me it wasn't just like go to the farmer's market and have a pleasant smile. It was like, what are the issues that are driving the lives of these people? And we heard about that today, about off-farm income, and they can't really make it. And then I learned about the driving up of land prices. So for me, that personal experiment, in a way I've done this before. I did it with money, your money or your life, and I did it with dialogue. How can we transform our society to a society of dialogue? Well, I invented a game. It's sort of like gamification of change. You develop something that isn't prescriptive, it isn't telling people what to do, but it's giving people a process to actually experience for themselves. So Blessing the Hands That Feed Us came out of that diet. Out of that came people saying, how do I do this? And I was like, well, just figure it out for yourself, go find a farmer. So, but I actually, out of that, I created yet one more game. And it's called the 10-Day Local Food Challenge. And for 10 days in October, you eat food from 100 miles radius of your home, giving yourself 10 exotics. How easy is that? Foods from afar you can't live without. And you take an opening survey to say who you are as an eater, and then a closing survey to say what you learned. And what I watched people do is they entered into that game, is they went through the transformation I went through. My interest with this game, I'm calling it a game because it's really, there's a bunch of rules. There are very few rules that generate a lot of experience. You enter into the story rather than reading the story. So I'm inviting all of you to do the challenge this year. But what I see is that if people have this experience for themselves, they are going to be like me, passionate food system change makers. They are going to find the places where they can enter into the story of the transformation of our food systems. And for me, my passion is restoring the vitality and productivity and prosperity and abundance of our regional food systems. That's where I really think that we need to make a concerted effort to take ourselves even from 5% to 10%, And my crazy goal, because I like numbers that match, is 50% of our food from within 500 miles by 2050. Can we restore our regional food systems to feed the people? And it sounds like outrageous, but it's sort of common sense as well. So that's the story.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that.